Welcome to the Fabulous Lifestyle Radio Show. Tune in for a vibrant mix of fashion, finance, and life's essential foundations. Join us for expert interviews, insightful discussions, and empowering insights to elevate your lifestyle. From fashion trends to financial tips and personal growth strategies, we've got you covered. So grab your headphones and get ready to be inspired. Tune in now to the Fabulous Lifestyle Radio Show and embark on this exciting journey with us.
Welcome back to the Fabulous Lifestyle Radio Show. I am your host, M. Teresa Lawrence, and I am here with Debra Ann Cruz. In our last segment, Debra was discussing how she helps victims of sexual abuse as part of her therapy program. And when we left, she was talking about helping high-functioning professionals. So, Debra, please continue from where we left off.
Thank you so much. I was saying that I had decided that the types of clients I was best working with would be high-functioning professionals, those who had their advanced degrees that help other people, and that it was my job to help them stay on track of what their purpose is and how they are to help people heal. It's been the most rewarding experience that I've ever had because I have doctors and lawyers and, but they feel confident and trusting enough to share with me childhood sexual abuse and any of the traumas they had been through before they, got to their advanced degrees. What's been helpful is me telling them my story of childhood sexual abuse and sharing with them how I had to decide that I wasn't going to let that become my identity.
Your story.
Yes, my story. I didn't want that to be my all. And when #MeToo came out, I kept hearing the mantra, tell your story, tell your story, tell your story. And I kept wondering, okay, well, what after that? How do you get back on your track and live your life and be happy? I kind of started to develop programs and messages to help with that venture.
I totally agree with that. You can tell your story all you want, but then you're like in a victim mode, right?
Right.
You're just telling your story like, woe is me, and then nothing happens. You got to work through that.
Yes, and the big divide between masculine and feminine energy, it just kicked up everything and the imbalance. People trying to find love, trying to find happiness, and those who are in partnerships or married, and those seeking partnerships. A lot of the my younger clients would come to me and they just hated the men who abused them, and I tried to get them to see forgiveness about that situation, help them through another path of how they can look at love and to give themselves permission to love and be loved again. And that's
Right, because if you stay in that hate, you're going to bring it into every relationship you have.
You will. And then I have male clients who don't know what to do with wanting to date and what to say and how to maneuver, that whole thing. So it's a delicate balance. I've had to create programs for that.
Oh, which brings me to the perfect question for you, because in your bio you talk about you're a twin flame love relationship matchmaker.
Yes.
Do tell. Please share.
Well, when COVID hit, I had to add couples counseling to my repertoire because my phone was jumping off the hook with couples wanting counseling because everybody wanted to kick each other out of the house. There was no outlet for people to go out to work or wherever. Talking to these couples, I just realized that they don't know each other. They've been married 20 and 30 years, and I'm saying this based on what he would tell me and then what she would tell me. And so I developed this program, the Romantic Standards Assessment. And because I would ask him, I said, what did you want? Who was your till death do us part partner? And a lot of people would say, I just want somebody who's kind or somebody who's good looking. And I'm like, you got to dig deeper than that because that's not realistic. So I said, give me 15 qualities. If you give me 15, and they couldn't do it. A lot of them couldn't do it. And so I developed this product. And it has definitions, it has examples, and one of
Do you only handle people that are married with this program,
No.
or people that are about to get married? Because what you are describing is something that would be incredibly useful for people thinking about getting married.
This assessment is for everybody.
Oh, okay.
Everyone.
That's wonderful.
And a lot of times my clients don't do it. They won't do it. Then they'll come back and say, oh, something happened, he didn't call me or she didn't show up. And I said, well, was that in your assessment? Did you do it? And they would say, no, I didn't do it. And I have one client who got married, who just got married, and I said, did you do that assessment I gave you? She says, no, we did a vision board. And I said, oh, well, had you done that, you would have known that he's more into his career than taking you out, that kind of thing. And the assessment is for negotiating points. It's compared to the traditional way of relating, which I think is a crapshoot. We don't know what you're going to get. You don't know how this person is going to be, long term in a relationship. But the standards, if you say, oh no, this is what I like, this is what I don't like.
What's your take on all the dating apps? Like Match
Matched-
or whatever.
Match.com,
Or
Bumble.
the younger people are using Bumble, I think. Or I don't know. Maybe I'm dating myself. Maybe they're using something else. I don't know.
No, they're using Bumble and Hinge. I think it's a sign of the times. It has evolved, that whole dating world. But the problem is that people take it to heart. I assign that to some of my clients. Put
Really?
a profile. Yeah, put a profile online, but not with the intention of dating anyone, meeting anyone in person, because I want them to get used to seeing what they like, what characteristics, read between the lines of what this person says. Look at the pictures. Can you tell if this picture is younger or older than that one? All of those kinds of little elements, And most important, if you're chatting with someone for two or 3 months, not months, for a while,
Right.
And if that person deletes you or blocks you, will you have some kind of feelings about it? So a lot of people get upset, and then you have to ask yourself, why are you getting upset? You don't even know this person. Why are you going there? So it's just to build up your self-confidence.
So it's training.
It's training, all training.
So I've been married for, I think it's 32 years. It might be 31, so don't tell anyone that I have forgotten. But I feel I'm on my third marriage with the same person because we've had to reassess where we are.
Sure.
And I think a lot of the, I don't know, the younger people seem to be very emotionally in tune. I was not. But it seems that this would be just so helpful for people thinking about getting married,
Right.
or divorced.
Yes.
Divorced people going
Yes.
into a new relationship, because we always say it doesn't matter where you are, you're still you.
You're still
you
you.
still land in the same place unless you do the work.
Right.
So
Right.
I think that this is wonderful, and I love it.
Can I add something?
Sure.
Men, we always underestimate how we understand each other. A lot of my female clients will say, well, he should know that that's what I want. Or she should know. And I'm like, how is she going to know? When they do the assessment or when they talk it out, they don't know.
Oh, can you give an example of that?
A classic example. I was taking an Uber ride one time. I was getting free sessions and Uber rides. But he was a Marine, former Marine, young guy, and he said, my wife's birthday was last week, and he said, I told her to write down everything you want me to do. He said, and it was fine. He said, and I could go down the checklist and get her everything she wanted. He said, and I got home around 12, and she said, well, where's my breakfast? And he said, you didn't have it on the list. You didn't have it on the list. And she said, well, you should know that that's what I like. I sleep late, and that's what I like. Well, some muffin or something she wanted. And he just said, but she didn't have it on the list. And that is so profound. And we always underestimate how key that is in terms of understanding masculine and feminine energy and the differences.
Oh, that's amazing. But, masculine, feminine energy. My screen goes to Dr. Ruth. I don't know if our listeners remember Dr. Ruth, but she was a fabulous, therapist, sex therapist.
Yeah.
You have been described as a cross between Dr. Phil's straight-talking practical wisdom and Dr. Ruth's compassionate guidance on love and intimacy.
Right.
Do tell how you mix those two together.
Well, with the clients I was working with, you know, they would ask me things about or tell me, well, he's not intimate enough with me, or she's not intimate, or she's just cut me off, and all of that kind of thing. And I just wondered, well, you two are in the house together, you're living together, you've been married all these years, or you've been dating all these years. You know, why can't you talk to each other? They would want a third party in between just to be confident to tell. I developed a course called Erotic Fantasy Writing. And it's
That's so fun.
It's
Is everybody listening? That's just so fun. Like, let's sit down with our partners and write erotic fantasy.
Well, erotic fantasy writing, but it's personalized. You write something about your partner that you know, and then, you know, he does it and she does it. Then you set a date and you exchange the stories. Or
Okay, everybody set a date right now where you're going to write love letters to your partner with erotic fantasies.
Yeah, an example, I had a young client, when I said that, he says, I don't want to do that. And I said, okay, you don't have to do it. Then the next week he says, you know, he said, my wife was in the kitchen and cutting up vegetables to make soup. And I went in to get a drink because I work from home. And I said, oh, okay. And I said, well, what were you thinking? He said, I looked at her and thought, how beautiful she is. Oh. And I just wished I could have gone over and kissed her on the neck and hugged her up. And I said, that's a fantasy. I said, had you gone back to your office and written that up in a message or recorded it and sent it to her in a message, it would have blown her head up. And she said, yeah, why didn't you do that?
Oh, well, that's beautiful. And with that, it's time for a commercial break. Stay tuned and we'll be right back in a moment.
Welcome to the Fabulous Lifestyle Radio Show, where we talk about food, fashion, finance, and foundations of life. We are live on KCAA Radio Broadcasting Network. KCAA is affiliated with CNBC, NBC News, and NBC Sports. We are sponsored by Sheltered Studios, Fire Connect, and Building Solid Foundation.